You've been saying to yourself that you're going to get your life in order, that you're going to sort things out. You've even been saying this to other people because you're so sure that you will. Yet days go by and they turn into weeks, and then them weeks turn into months. And one day you're spending a quiet moment with your thoughts and you realise you're still the same person that you were. So I had quite a lot of addictions when I was younger, right? So normal things like your porn, your weed, your video games, your junk food. Stuff that most guys end up struggling with. But one thing that I could not shake, that I could not get rid of for such a long time, was social media. My addiction to social media was so bad to the point where I was a chef, right? So as a chef, you got service where you know all the customers come in, they're sitting in the restaurant, they're ordering their food, and obviously we're preparing the food. The waitresses are coming in saying, no, this person didn't want this stuff. Busy service, right? My social media addiction was so bad to the point where during a busy service, I had to go to the toilet just so I could spend 5 minutes on Instagram looking at memes, brain rot, shit, whatever. It was so bad. This is because I wasn't capable of controlling that voice in my head. You know when you're just about to go and do something else, but then you have that voice in your head saying, no, we should go do this. I could never control that. That was something I never had agency over, and I realised this is why it dominated my life for so long, because I ended up not seeing that voice as a separate thing, but I ended up identifying with it, and this is why social media ruled my life for so many fucking years. Let me tell you something that no one's going to tell you. I'm going to keep it real with you. Your brain's not going to agree with it, but it's true. If you truly wanted to be able to actually quit your addictions, then you would have already done it. You see, the reason why you haven't quit your addictions yet, and they're still plaguing your life, is because you don't deem them to be bad enough to be able to quit. That's why you still keep them around. Let me explain this to you through another lens. So for a period of time, I was addicted to Ket, right? Which is horse tranquilizer. Party drug, you sniff it, woo, you go crazy. One of the nuances of it is it ends up crystallizing your bladder. So when you ingest it, it goes into your bladder and it crystallizes it. And what this crystallization does is it slowly shrinks your bladder to the point where you're ending up pissing loads. I got to the point where I'd be working shifts right at the co-op or something, and I'd be pissing like every 10 minutes. So in retail, when you're on the shop floor, I have to be constantly leaving the shop floor, and people are looking at me like, have you got a problem? And I'm like, no, my bladder's just not working. But I couldn't tell people why it was, because it's not a common thing. When you do it so much, it gets to the point where you end up losing your bladder and you end up having to piss in a bag for the rest of your life. You know, like an old person. Now, because of this, I had visions of me being my age right now, pissing into a bag. But because of that, because I had that vision, and that vision was so scary and so tragic, I ended up quitting my Ket addiction. And how I can relate this to you, maybe you're suffering porn. Maybe you're suffering with social media. Maybe you can't stop eating junk food. The reason why you haven't quit yet is because whatever it is that's holding you back isn't bad enough for you to be able to quit. You're just on the cusp of comfort and discomfort that you're like, you know what, I'm going to stay here. But you're slowly suffering and you're slowly getting to the point where you hate yourself because you're not changing. But the reason why you're not changing is because there's not enough of a reason for you to change. The key of quitting any addiction is becoming absolutely sick of it, like genuinely disgusted of it, to the point where you hear that voice in your head telling you to go and do your addiction. It cringes you out, it makes you feel icky. But how do we get to this point? Simply, you have to look at future possibilities for your life. So I want you to identify what you want in the future. Do you want a nice house? Do you want a fulfilling job, a beautiful wife? Whatever it is, okay? That's what you want. Now, I want you to identify with the fact that you will never achieve the life that you want because of the addiction that you have. I want you to say this out loud: I will never achieve this life with this addiction. What we're doing here is creating discomfort with the idea of you having this addiction. And what this discomfort does is that it plants a seed, and that seed is doubt. What we're doing is linking your addiction to doubt. This is a negative feeling, so that every time you listen to that voice telling you to go and do that thing, as soon as you do it, you're going to feel a pang of regret. You're going to feel shame. You're going to feel doubt that you have just lost against your own fucking brain. Like, put it this way, you think you're smarter than people that you went to school with, right? But yet you can't even win against your own brain telling you to do something that you don't want to do. Over time, what this is going to do is it's going to help you identify that voice. And that voice is now going to be seen as your enemy. And that enemy is going to try and seduce you. And now, What this is, it's a game of tug of war. Each time he convinces you, you go closer to his side. Each time you tell him to fuck off, it goes closer to your side. You're going to have unlimited opportunities to win. All it's going to be is how long is it going to take you to get there. When coming up with reasons for quitting, you need to tie some emotion behind it. It's not enough to just say you want a Bentley. You need to imagine how shit your life is going to be if you continue on your current path and what you're going to be missing out on if you do so. This is going to take some introspection, but right now, you don't see your addiction as bad enough. But the idea is to come to the point where you absolutely hate your addiction, because this will serve as fuel to enable you to change your situation for good. The main word to explain all of this is purpose. Purpose is just a reason. The reason why you're struggling is because right now, you don't have your reason. Nietzsche quoted this: "He who has a why can overcome any how." It's up to you to figure out what the fuck you want to do with your life. I can't help you in this video. All I can do is guide you based on my experience. The closer you get to your purpose, the easier it becomes to fix your life. If purpose is something you're struggling with and you're struggling to find your why, I have a link in the description that takes you to my coaching package. Click it and then we'll see if you're a good fit. If you like this video, if it found you well, share it with someone who you think may need it, like, comment and subscribe for the algorithm, and I'll catch you in the next one.